What up, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about minimum wage and how we should not be raising minimum wage. What the fuck are we doing, guys? The economy does not work like that. If you raise minimum wage, it doesn't actually make people who have minimum wage jobs, they don't make them richer. You guys realize that, right? Because guess what? You raise minimum wage, the CEOs make less money because they're paying more people. And that's like their biggest expense is wages. So if we raise minimum wage, their wages go up, and then CEOs make significantly less money. Then you know what happens? They raise prices, and then guess who pays those higher prices? We do. They don't pay shit. CEOs don't pay shit. They don't pay nothing of the extra money that we cause them to take because of the minimum wages. They just make it back in blood, man. Not literally, but they make that shit not their problem. Is my point. And so if we raise minimum wages, we gotta, we're never gonna succeed as an economy or as a middle class. We're just going to keep burying ourselves deeper and deeper. And so what I propose, which is something that Switzerland is proposing, but even Switzerland, the most noble of countries, has also denied this because the CEOs are powerful even there, which is crazy. But basically the proposal is that, you should set a salary cap on your CEOs based on a proportion of your lowest waged worker's wage. So if your janitor makes, 30K a year, which I would say is even high for a janitor. If your janitor makes 30K a year, you should only be able to make 12 times more of that. And I have to do the math right now. I'll put it on screen. But if you only make that much, then the CEO should only be making this much. And I'm pretty sure it's less than $1 million. But I know so many corporations right now, like even Boeing, I think the CEO's salary is like $6 million or something. Correction, is $32 million. I'll put that on screen as well, just in case. But yeah, the CEOs, they make so much more in America. And I know, if we were to implement that rule, even if we were to somehow get it passed, which I'm sure American corporations are going to hire assassins to kill people who are going to in any way make that happen, because it's probably cheaper to kill people than it is to actually fight the law in the legal manner. It's just cheaper that way. And I don't know if you guys know this, but corporations do anything that is cheaper if it makes them money. They will literally throw nukes into Russia if it means it's cheaper for them to sell burgers at the same price. You get me? Like they will do that shit. I think people underestimate how greedy the corporations are, but they be doing that because they need to and that's the thing. I wouldn't say it's the corporations themselves. I would say it's the insatiable need to please their shareholders, and their shareholders are like what's bankrolling their whole corporation. Like these shareholders that you've never heard their names of are single-handedly keeping the corporations alive because their investments go directly into company money. So if the shareholders are not making their money back, they're gonna pull out, and that's like usually like a huge portion of their money. Holy cow, that was a nice ass goal, Scuba. What I propose, which is what I was doing in my econ class, which I just finished, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, we should implement that law, which again probably never gonna happen, but it's a miracle. It's a stretch. It'll be a miracle if it does. The 12 from 1 law. And I did think about what are some loopholes that the CEOs could implement to not have to pay or to have themselves get paid more than 12 times the minimum wage of the lowest salary worker. And what I came up with was, god damn it, teammates. What I came up with was that you could easily hire third-party companies or just a third-party company to like do your minimum wage job. So instead of hiring your janitors in-house, you can just hire a company that is probably partially owned by you already to just do the cleaning services in your building. And then now those employees aren't technically employed by you; they're employed by the company. And so you do that. Now that just significantly like increases the CEO's pay, because if it's not the janitors, then the next lowest people paid are probably the receptionists, which probably get paid like 50K a year. If they're big enough corporations, they probably pay their receptionists a decent amount. I hope. I actually am not too sure, but I hope that's what they get paid, because I would say 50K a year is pretty decent for a receptionist. But so 12 times 50, that's what, 600,000, which
Everyone knows you're using
honestly is a livable wage. That's pretty livable, don't you guys think? 600K a year, pretty livable. That's $1 million every 2 years, and that's enough for you to live off of without even having to work anymore, because you could just invest 500K into, you know, the S&P 500, and then you can make like 100 to or 80 to 100K a year, just, you know, just by letting it grow on its own, and you don't even have to work. That's my main goal, guys. If you guys ever for some reason you know, win $1 million, first thing you got to do, this is the #1 rule when you win the lottery, guys, you pay off all your debts and then invest all of it into the S&P 500. That's it. And then you'll be making, like, you know, if it's a significant amount, you know, without all your debts paid, if you know, your debts aren't too big, and, you know, you still have a decent portion of your $1 million, you should be able to live off of whatever the S&P gives back every year, unless the market crashes, and then you're fucked. But I mean, it's $1 million you didn't have, so, you know, it's like not a crazy thing. Oh man, I really hope I made that in there, or had a better shot on goal there. But yeah, so if we implement that rule, that will not only you know, significantly like allow or incentivize the corporations to give better benefits and wages to their lowest paid workers, but it'll also, like, you know, just make the world a better place if these fucking companies weren't so, you know, adamant on keeping their highest paid workers just paid. You don't need that much. Like it's crazy that they can give the CEO raises, and then they won't give their, you know, the lowest minimum wage workers their, yeah, not literally minimum wage, but their lowest wage workers, they won't give them like, you know, a 10K a boost of salary a year, you know, a raise, I should say. But then they'll give their CEOs like an extra $100,000 a year. Future Swavy here again. It was actually not an extra $100,000 a year. They gave the Boeing CEO an extra $10 million a year, a 45% increase. And he also declined an extra $2 million bonus because, you know, they exploded a plane or whatever. So he was like, you know what? Maybe I won't accept that extra $2 million. Well, what a courteous man. Like, bro, like, you realize you could give your, you know, every single employee like $100 more every paycheck, and then you probably, you know, only take out of 100 grand out of the CEO's paycheck. And, you know, if you're already making 600K a year, or I should say the 6 million a year, 100 grand is less than like 0.5% of that. Like, what are you even going to do with a 100 more K? What are you going to do with 100 more K? You don't need that money. It's like a rule in economies that the more money you have, the less significant each dollar is. You get me? Yeah, I just really want to get this out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.